This is the continual evolution of the East Coast beat. A tale of travel, a road song. There was a time when I knew I had these neighbors, and they had nieces and a niece and a nephew. And I remember one time they were about 5 or 6 years old, and I remember one time I saw them get into a little fight, and then I told the girl, she said something about her brother, and I said, some boys. I told her I was a soldier. I said some boys, when they leave home, they never come back. So, what is life? What is any of any of this about? Um, are we born to learn? Are we born to come to a fuller understanding of our everyday? Some people, um, I think all people at some point feel like a high paying job and a nice house and the ability to send your kids to private school and SeaWorld vacations and ice cream at the zoo. Yes, these are all beautiful things, but the richness of life. When you were 5 years old and you had vanilla ice cream, it may have been the first time you ever had it, and you marvel at this new flavor of vanilla, and then in time, strawberry, chocolate, praline, all these other flavors come along. And then when you're about 15, you're having vanilla again. And you remember, oh, I remember vanilla from when I was 5. That was 10 years. And what did you do in those 10 years between 5 and 15? You know? And then, but then rather than, as I said, when one enters non thought, rather than walking with that non thought through the city streets at night, listening to the echoes of, the trumpets blaring in the music halls, um, out in as you walk by in the street. Uh, what what was it that you were looking for when you were 5? At 15, did you find it? Like, imagine when you were 5 years old, you went to elementary school, you went to kindergarten, and you saw a bunch of kids play games, and you saw one was very good at basketball, and you saw one was very good at soccer, and you saw one was very good, one was very good at something, or maybe one was very good at a lot of things. But you could tell that, you know, different people were better at other things than other people. Different people had different abilities. And did you find yours? Did you look? Did you question why? In the dark, you know, do you question why you did what you did? Could I have done better? Maybe. Did you ask yourself at 5? Could I have done better? Did you ask yourself at 15, could I have done better? Did it take until 15 until you finally asked, could I have done today better? If I knew more what I wanted, who I was, could I have done today better? Could I have not fallen into the traps and pitfalls of man at 15? You know, could I have saved myself? Could something have saved me from myself at 15, at 5, at 50? In non-thought, you make decisions, you make choices, you make statements, you meet strangers on the street, but you're living in the fullness of your life. You're not, if you're hurt, like right now, I walk with a limp. I don't try to hide it. I don't try to limp, obviously limp. I'm trying to find a way of getting about smoothly, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to drag my foot behind me like a zombie, you know what I'm saying? And, people, so I'm trying to find this middle ground that I keep hearing so much about. How to walk with a limp. It's obvious, especially when I'm tired. So, how do I dress now? Now that I can't fight off 5 hooligans, for my disability check, do I start wearing button up shirts? You know what I'm saying? Penny loafers, pull my socks up. Now that I've made it to 51 and things take more time, it takes me much more time to do everything from take a shower to put on my socks in the morning. Everything's a little more effort, everything's a little more concentration. It's perfect. Just when life got a little too easy, something had to bring me back and make me realize, why do I keep taking each step that I take? I'm tired, I'm hurt, I'm half crippled. Why don't I just sit down? Because that's not my nature. I didn't sit down when I was 5. I didn't sit down when I was 15. And I didn't sit down when I was 50. I'm 51 now. And I still question, what is a dollar worth? What is my dollar worth? One of my old partners used to say this, said this once to me. He said, when you tell the girls something and you give them a tip, it rings, it makes noise, you know? So, he was just letting me know, like they said in the old days when I was even younger, old people should be dropping nuggets of wisdom like gold, you know what I'm saying? But what can I tell you? Don't get caught up. Try not to get caught up in somebody else's political system. Don't end up in jail or the hospital or a situation you can't get out of. But then again, like I said, I was in juvenile hall before high school, so what can I say? And what did I do? When I was in the eighth grade. Before I got sent away to juvenile hall, I filled the fridge. Um, I tried to make the suffering of the people around me a little bit less. But the Buddha says that you suffer for what you want. So for me wanting to make people suffer a little less, I had to suffer a little more. And at my age, I still try. I say hard things. I say hard, horrible, harsh, borderline racist, misanthropist, woman hating, dude hating, effeminate male hating, butch lesbian. I say a lot of stuff. I just say hateful things sometimes, and I see homeless people do the same thing. And I think that's how close I am. But I don't commit the acts. I try not to scare people. I try not to use fear, intimidation. I mean, to the point where have I ever been victimized for being too kind? Maybe, you know. But do I feel like I've been an oppressor or, demanded too much? Maybe, but less. I mean, for every, 5 things that I could have taken too far, I pulled back 3 or 4 times, 4 or 5 times, maybe even 10 times before I let go one time. And then I realized maybe that's not me. And maybe that's how life works. In the eightfold noble, in the eightfold path in Buddhism, what you're trying to do is you're trying to start a cycle, and you're trying to get right thought and right action to lead into each other. So you want to start having thoughts that lead to positive actions. And they say how you do this is from everything from how you talk to people, the words you use, how you make your money, um, and then at some point, when you start doing all of these things, it'll start affecting the way you think, your attitude, your will, what you want, and you'll start committing actions. And then you'll have the right thought again because you'll be able to say, okay, if this is what I want, say when I was at a certain age, say you come to a certain point in your life where you say, you know what, I would really want that. Okay. One, um, it's not to encourage um, that want. It's not to encourage the want out of the parental caring, almost that you don't get it. If you, okay, I want this, okay, you're going to suffer. For different things, you have to suffer differently. But let's say you get to a certain point in your life and you're like, you know what? I want to not be afraid of walking down my street at night. That was a real fear I had when I was younger. I want to not be afraid of walking down my street at night. Okay, at this age, I'm not afraid of walking down streets at night. I had to get up, I had to get out, I had to feel the fear. I had to question, what am I fearing? Am I fearing dogs chasing me? Am I fearing bald heads jumping the fence and trying to rob me? Am I fearing getting hit by a drunk driver? Am I fearing bats with rabies? Am I fearing vampires? Am I fearing zombies? Am I fearing demons? Am I fearing that, if like when I was in the third grade, am I fearing, the kid that sits next to me because I didn't let him copy off of me, which actually probably helped him because he would have only gotten a wrong answer, But am I fearing him? Is that what I fear when I walk down my street at night? That he'll be there? You have to ask yourself those questions. You have to say, I want to no longer be afraid to walk down my street at night. And then ask yourself as you're walking down the street, I feel fear. What am I afraid of? And then that way, if it never happens, at least you know. And if it does happen, you've come to the conclusion and you know it. You know. And then when that moment comes, you have to live that moment. Say you do get chased by a dog, or you do get, stopped by, a couple drunk guys that are just basically trying to pick on some kid walking down the street. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Are you gonna, how long are you gonna sit in your mom's house before you walk down the street at night again? If that's what you want. Some people want to make money. Some people want fast cars. Some people want big yachts. Some people want to be able to walk down the street at night and not feel fear. Some people want to know that when they speak to certain people, that those people know that, yeah, we may all wear masks, but I'm at least sliding mine off for a little second, and I'm going to share 30 years of knowledge between a 50 and a 20-year-old in 30 seconds, because you may never have thought this way. You may never have come to an understanding. Some young people look at me and they think, oh, he gets exactly what he deserves. Some young people may look at me and they may think, oh, he's, cursed by God or by man. Or some people look at me and they think he's just a madman or he's just lazy. The young may look at me a certain way, but they see the grays, they see the sunburnt skin, they see the scars, they see the limp, they see the fact that I still try to put forward a look that it can be handled. You know what I'm saying? At this point in my life, I do feel a heaviness in my chest when I realize it could be worse and it can get worse and it may get worse. But at the same time, I still try to step up, wake up every day, and feel that it is being handled. It can be handled. I will make it up and down the stairs. I will make it to the bus stop. I will make it to my appointment. I will make it, to meet my friend. I will make it, to the corner market to get a can of mackerel and some tomatoes and onion, so I can have it with my white rice. This will be done. This is what I want, and I'm willing to suffer for it. That's the essence of Buddhism as I've come to understand it. They say, I say, The Buddha never wrote. It was the students that said. So it would take two students that said, I heard the Buddha say, and the other would say, okay, I heard the Buddha say the same thing. And then they would say, okay, then this is a truth among Buddhists, among the Sangha, the community. I heard the Buddha say, and if somebody else could say he heard the same thing, then that was the truth. And then when they would write them, all these people that had passed down the stories of these couples of monks or, small groups of monks that would all agree, okay, I once heard the Buddha say this. Okay, I heard him say it too. We agree. It's the truth. Not that the Buddha said it is the truth. It's that these men heard the Buddha say it and they agree that it's the truth. So the Buddha said, if you want something, you will suffer for it. And if you suffer for it, you may get what you want. Now, in your lifetime, try to do things righteously. Now, these are going to, all I can say is I heard voices when I was a kid tell me my path, and I followed that path. And it led me here. Now, I've been halfway around the world half a dozen times. I've walked most of it. I've taken taxis, trains, subways, you know. I've slept on train station floors. I've slept in the back of cars. I've slept on the floor of a friend's apartment. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I wake up and I think, okay, I may not want these things, that are available. And the things I may want may not be available, but I'm willing to suffer for what I want. And what is it that I want? At one point, I imagined that I had stepped into a river and I was being baptized in this river. And I could breathe in the water. And in the water, you understood flow in a new way. That's why I use easy as the breeze. How can one make it through life easy as the breeze? But the same breeze can knock down buildings, uproot trees, bring planes out of the sky, or sail you across an ocean, or wake you up with the flutter of a butterfly's wings. The breeze. So, what has been taught to me over the years is that when I was 5, I heard a word and it meant something to me. And I asked myself questions based on this word. Honor, courage, loyalty, family, friendship, fidelity, strength, man, humanity, passion. But more than passion, I wanted to be compassionate. I didn't want to be overrun by my emotions when I was younger, so I suffered for it. Hmm. And most of the time, I got what I wanted. But every now and then, like I said, I still get mad. I still say horrible things. And, you know, I wish that I could stop at times, to be honest. But they say, oh, anger has to be expressed. Well, then let me express it another way. Not in this base, coarse, vulgar, trash way that I say it. Give me some dignity and some eloquence and let me, I don't know, maybe even be witty, you know? Save me from myself. It's what I want, and I'm willing to suffer for it. The continual evolution of the East Coast beat.